Hello, your name is
Condra.
Carly Condra. Go ahead and have a seat. My name is Sheri. I will be interviewing for Dr. Erickson. Now, you are coming in to get a position as pet boarder, is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay, well, can you describe yourself?
Well, I'm a very compassionate person. For all those things that I love, I'm very caring. I can fall in love with the ugly duckling, and I've known to be very positive in a lot of hard times.
Okay. Those sound like very admirable traits. Can you describe your strengths and weaknesses?
Well, I like to stay very calm in stressful situations and just face them head on. And my weakness may be forming a connection with a sick animal or an animal in need, and later, who knows what would happen to them.
So, how long would this impact you, or in what way?
I wouldn't let it impact me too bad, but there'd always be something deep in my stomach that I could feel, but I'm pretty good at ignoring it.
Okay. How do you cope with stress?
A lot of the times, I just take a few deep breaths and I face the situation head on and try to get through it. That way that the stress will no longer be there.
How would your friends describe you?
They would say that I really like to accomplish my dreams and I like to have as many options out there as I can. They would say that I'm very understanding in people, like whenever they're in need, and that I'm always the sweet one that never starts any drama, and if there does happen to be drama, then I'm kind of the one that steps in and solves the situation.
Okay. What makes you a good pet boarder?
Well, to start, I love animals, and I love being around animals, and just to be around animals, it makes me happy to make their day. And it makes me just as happy as someone would make, as if someone made a human's day, it makes them very happy, but whenever I make an animal's day, it makes me feel just as great.
Okay. What made you decide to be a pet boarder?
I've always dreamt about working with animals, and they're just so sweet, and I don't know, just ever since I was little, I've always loved the idea of working with animals.
How do you feel about euthanasia and why?
Well, I feel like there's a good time to use it and there's a bad time to use it. The good time is always whenever the animal's suffering. If they're suffering, then I feel like no one would want to suffer anymore. So I feel like it's a good idea to use it as long as you're putting them out of their misery.
What would you do if there are obvious signs that an animal you are treating has been abused?
Well, if I saw that, I'd be very upset to see that, of course. But I'd definitely go to the vet working that day, and I'd report why I think that they had been abused. And as we were looking over the animal, trying to figure out, to make sure that what we see is abuse, we would always we talk about it. I'd let them know how the owner seemed whenever they dropped them off, and we would just file a report if it comes down to that.
Okay. Now, if a client brings in a perfectly healthy animal and wants to euthanize it because they no longer want the dog, what do you do?
I never would understand why they would want to do that. Like I said before, whenever you put a dog or any animal to sleep, they have to be in misery. There's no reason in ending a life that's perfectly healthy and happy, all because you don't want them anymore. So if an owner came up to me and suggested putting them to sleep all because they didn't want them anymore, I would suggest that they find a different alternative to giving away their animal, such as animal shelters, and I'm sure our vet would take some of them and put them up for adoption. There are so many little kids out there that want a pet, and they'd be very happy to hear that there's a dog out there for adoption.
What do you do in your free time? Any hobbies?
Yeah, I play soccer a lot of the time. Normally you'll see me at games or at practice, and if you don't see me there, then normally I'm hanging out with friends, and I like to go to Worlds of Fun and Oceans of Fun with them, since I live in Blue Springs and there's not always that much to do here. And I also like to go to the movies.
Okay. What was the last book you read?
I read The Great Gatsby in school,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed it because I actually understood that movie, especially since the book, especially since I watched the movie.
Okay.
And so, since I could understand it a little better than my classmates did, I enjoyed it a lot more. And also, at the very end, we had to write an essay over it, and I happened to get an A on it.
Oh, that helped then, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any volunteer experience?
Yeah, actually, I've shadowed twice for a vet office, and I was in middle school whenever I shadowed for them, and I got to watch them do surgeries on 2 different dogs, and both of them needed tumors removed. And it was just a great experience to watch that actually happen in action. And also, I had to watch them put a cat to sleep that was suffering from old age and all that.
How did that affect you?
It was kind of sad to watch them like slowly die, but I mean, I knew it was for the better, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't think I do. But thank you so much for your time.
No problem. We should get back with you in a week or two.
All right, sounds good.